Hello everybody, I'm pleased as punch. I'm glad I checked Facebook this morning. When I was on Facebook, I thought I'll have a little look at the Rochdale AFC Facebook page. And to my amazement and great happiness actually, I learnt that Rochdale AFC yesterday sacked the manager Robbie Stockdale. Many of you on this who subscribe to this channel do not support Rochdale AFC, but you would have seen my recent videos, especially the one where Rochdale only fielded one white player in the starting 11 on a Tuesday night against Burton Albion in the League Cup. That one white player actually scored the goal in the dying minutes of the game. Scored the goal to put them 1-0 up in the dying minutes, and then Rochdale got a second goal in injury time. But I think the goal we scored was the first goal that was the important goal. That was in the 86 minutes. Now, yeah, Robbie Stockdale tactically inept, terrible, and it's been clear to me that during the summer there's been a constant, there's been players leaving Rochdale AFC and they've been getting replaced, the great replacements. It seems the manager was hell-bent on recruiting. I don't know where he's been recruiting from, but all the players are African that have come in, barring a couple, you know, they've not all been African. There is you've got Ian Henderson, for instance, but the vast majority clearly have been African players. I don't know what. Well, I do suspect what has pushed him towards that. You see, this season we've seen the teams Rochdale's been playing against haven't been taking the knee. The referee has, and Rochdale's players, of course, have been taking the knee. The Rochdale team resembling a team from Africa, of course. Yeah, they've been taking the knee. Now, I was wondering to myself, is this wokeness, this this constant? I mean, the bending the knee. Let's be fair to a Marxist tourist organisation, really, that wants to that hates the Western world, particularly hates Britain and our culture and our history. So none of these teams should have been taking the knee in the first place. Nobody should have been taking the knee. This descended from America, just like Drag Queen Story Hour. That also came from America. We really do need to distance ourselves from the United States of America, because a lot of this degeneracy is clearly coming from over the pond. And yeah, Robbie Stockdale, only 4 games into the season, he's lost all 4, and he's only lost them by a goal, but the performances have been diabolical. His last interview was quite interesting, actually, because when I was looking at the stats, I didn't go all the way down to bloody Stevenage. I wouldn't have been able to if I wanted to on a Tuesday night, but because my car was in the garage, and it still is in the garage. It's having issues, but still. In that match, I was looking at the stats. After 60 minutes, Rochdale hadn't had a shot at all. They probably hadn't even been in Stevenage's half after 60 minutes. But no shot on goal, no shot on target, no shot off target. The final stats of the match, I think it was Stevenage had 17 shots, Rochdale had 4 shots, but only one of them shots was on target. And this wasn't unusual. In the other 4 games, it's been pretty similar stats, to be honest. But in that interview after the Stevenage game, I think that probably was the final nail in his coffin, because Robbie Stockdale was saying in the interview that they deserved a draw. He was saying the second half, he was pretty much trying to say the second half we was all over Stevenage, but the stats clearly didn't suggest that. The stats suggested that Stevenage, and the comments actually by fans also said, we don't know what game you was watching. I was quite happy too. I don't know if my videos, I'm hoping my videos have had some sort of influence on the taking of the knee palaver, because I loved one of the comments in the comments in that video. It was constant, everyone saying Stockdale out, time to go. There was one comment I really enjoyed, though. One comment said, get up off your knees, you plonkers, or something along them lines. It definitely said, get up off your knees, though. And I thought to myself, I'm hoping that person has been watching my videos, and I'm quite happy that I'm not the only person who feels like this in the Rochdale AFC fan base. And yeah, There was other excuses after matches too. Quite a lot. Robbie Stockdale was blaming the heat. After Gillingham, he mentioned the heat. He did mention that their goal was offside, but still, I was at that match, and I wasn't saying we lost because of an offside goal. The offside goal came after 10 minutes, and Rochdale didn't threaten Gillingham in any way, shape or form in that match. And Gillingham, actually, they was a dire team as well. And yeah, Gillingham's only got 3 points, and the 3 points was beating Rochdale so far in their 4 matches. So clearly, they're not good either. And yes, these charlatans that Stockdale have brought in, clearly, most of them aren't up to the standard of League Two. From what I've seen, many of these players he's brought in, they're not fit to be playing professional football, to be quite frank. And I was wondering, where was this wokery coming from? Was it coming from, I suspected it was Robbie Stockdale, the manager, because he's the one who signs the players. And in the summer, I've mentioned the lack of diversity coming in the recruitment. I've mentioned the lack of diversity from the summer recruitment by Robbie Stockdale. So, yeah, my suspect was the knee bending, the push to bend the knee when none of the other teams are doing it, came from the top, the manager. Because you never know, do you? You think to yourself, is this wokery coming from the manager or is it coming from the club itself? Now, the fact Rochdale have acted so quickly and sacked him after only 4 matches suggests to me that also the club is not happy with the summer recruitment. And yeah, hopefully the new manager, when we get the new manager in, he'll be saying the same as that comment in the Rochdales in the last interview Robbie Stockdale did. That guy who did the brilliant comment, get up off your knees. Hopefully the new manager will be coming in and telling them to get up off your knees, do not bend your knee. So yeah, very happy. And yes, I think I digressed. I was going to say after the Gillingham match, he was blaming the heat for hot weather for the performance. But yeah, that doesn't make sense, to be honest, when you're playing a starting 11 where the vast majority of the starting 11 are African, because of course they are better. Of course, if you're from Africa, the heat affects you less. So to blame heat for poor performances when you've got a team that resembles a team from Nigeria, doesn't make sense, does it? So yeah, onwards and upwards. And yeah, hopefully the new manager comes in and he starts changing the starting 11.